Live from the lab, Capitals Talk, playoff edition. Matter of fact, Eastern Conference Finals edition with Anna, DujunneaB, Robbie, and myself. Episode 101, Sports on the Hill podcast on True Radio Network. Let me go ahead and bring in Anna, because I know she's ready to break down these two exciting games that we got to witness on the Eastern Conference Final, the first time that Alex Ovechkin has been there, and they're playing pretty damn well. Anna, how are you doing tonight?
They're playing pretty damn well is an understatement. Yes, I am so pumped and so excited, and just, coming off a high from a amazing Mother's Day weekend. And thank you, Carol, for the pictures and stuff. That was awesome to see, including everyone's moms. But yeah, I'm pumped. I think our team just looks finally in sync, and they're just ready to go. And you know what I love about it? They're having a good time. They're out there. You can see smiles. They're not trying too hard. They're not making a ton of errors. There's going to be a lot of, a lot of heat between Kunin for sure, because I hate that guy. But I'm just so excited. I think it's been a fun series so far, and I'm looking forward to them bringing it back to DC.
Very true, very true. Before we get into all the scoring, we just get a quick, you mentioned Kunitz. The fact that he's an ex-Penguin, and the fact that he was the most active player in those two games is a good thing, because if he's the most active player, that means their big guns aren't doing anything. And we're going to get into it later on. Me and Robbie have been talking a lot offline, and I can't wait to really break it down, after we get into the scoring. So I'll go ahead and let you break down the first two games, and we'll bring in DujunneaB and bring in Robbie and have a nice little Eastern Conference Final round table about these first two games and what we expect from the next two games with the Caps playing at home.
All right, sounds good. So our Tampa series kicked off on Friday, obviously in Tampa Bay, with the first period had Kempney scoring, which I'm becoming a huge fan of his, and I'm super excited. But it was his first playoff goal with a wrist shot at 7:28, followed by the captain scoring his ninth goal at 19:54, giving the Caps a 2-0 lead heading into the second. The second period was also all about the Caps dominating the scoring. You have Jay Beagle scoring with the backhand at 2:40, followed by Eller scoring his fourth playoff goal at 6:42. The Caps go into the third with a 4-0 lead, which is outstanding. But then Tampa Bay did come back at 4-2, but still gave the Caps a 4-2 win for the first game of the series. And they gave their 3 stars to Ovi, Kuzi, and Beeks, which I thought were well deserved. They played well. It was a great game. But moving on to the Sunday game. So we kick off with only 28 seconds into the first, with the Wilson scoring on a tip-in, followed by 2 Tampa Bay players scoring, giving Tampa Bay a 2-1 lead going into the second. But again, the second period was dominated by the Washington, with goals by Natali at 2:50, followed by an Eller tip-in, which was an assist by Vrana, which was great. And closing out the second was a wrist shot power play goal at 19:57 by Kuzi, assisted by Ovi and Eller. Caps are now up 4-2 heading into the third, and here we go. Our captain scores his 10th goal at 3:34, followed by Connolly at 12:57 to close out the game with a 6-2 Capitals win. And now we have the next two games, Tuesday and Thursday, here at home, and they look awesome.
Very true, very true. I'm going to go ahead and I'll bring in DujunneaB before I get to mine and see what his thoughts were in these first two games. He's down in the Florida area, so he's probably a little bit closer to some of the misery they're feeling down there with them losing those first two games. DujunneaB, I know they had the game on all over down there. What did you take away from this impressive and unexpected 2-0 Cap Series lead coming back to DC?
The Caps look like they're not pressured by anything in their action. spree. So you can see that they're attacking Tampa Bay. And I know it seems to be here that a lot of people are pretty surprised at the fact that they basically shut down Tampa Bay from even getting goals like they were earlier. And really, they're swarming them on defense. They're really being very physical. And it looked like, especially the other night, that they just flat out just punched them and never looked back. They were dazed the whole entire game. And this is what you want. You want to be able to dictate. This is what great teams do. They get on top of these guys and they don't let up. And that's what they've done to them in the first two games. So they'll have to carry that momentum. If they can carry that momentum, they can clean this up right here in Washington. So, it is a surprise to a lot of the Tampa Bay teams and fans. But at the same time, the Lightning haven't played up to the level of the Capitals at all, whether it's intensity, whether it's the consistency of being able to attack and be relentless at it for a long period of time. There's a lot of things that they're just not measuring up, and it seems like last night they pretty much, they stole a little bit of their heart last night. You see the frustration at the end of the game, and when you get embarrassed and you're out, the way they had the first two games, that's enough to get anybody frustrated. So hopefully that's also in the Caps' favor. If they continue to score early, then the Lightning are, so to speak, getting that here we go again feeling that they've had the first two games. Then maybe they can clean it up and close it out in Washington.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Robbie next because I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say because what's been happening and what's been going on, I called it. And that's what I love about being on the record, because when you call something and you're right, I get to stand on my soapbox and poke my chest out and tell all them folks that's sitting in Facebook groups that think they know all, that told me I know what I was talking about, that told me that the team sucked, Trots need to get fired, all this other BS that I told them to chill out on. Oh, you're going to hear from me, but I'm going to let Robbie go first before I start throwing some daggers out there to certain folks. Robbie, I already know pretty much where you were, but let the people know how you felt about these first two games.
All right, sounds good. Well, I'm excited to be back on. It's been a great baseball segment. I enjoyed listening to that. It's been an interesting week. I mean, going back and beating Pittsburgh right after our show, it was an incredible experience. We had a huge monkey off our back that we just haven't been able to do that. Only the second time in 11 tries. And, I was excited, but I was still cautiously optimistic because I know Tampa Bay has played well this year. And I was really impressed, sort of the road game mentality. The Caps went into game one, and they played their game, and it was really exciting to see. I thought that they were relentless for the first 40 minutes of those first 4 goals. I thought they took a step back when the other goalie was put in, who I thought played well. But so they were able to come back a little bit, but still 4-2 is a solid victory. And then in game 2, hitting that huge speed bump, and when we're up 1-0, and they're gifted 2 plays that are very questionable penalty calls, and suddenly they get up 2-1. They haven't had much success 5-on-5. But here they are playing well in the power play. I'm excited about how the Capitals are able to produce in the power play. I wish their penalty kill could step up in big moments and say, no, that was a BS call. We got to lock it down. But on this night, our offense came to shine in the second period, came back. Big goal by DSP in that 4-on-3 rush. At one point, them coming down the lane was amazing because if they score there and make it 3-1, it's a different game. But we come back the other way. Great pass from Chason to DSP, scores the goal, ties it up 2-2. We're able to ride that momentum, score some crucial goals, 2 goals in the last minute of the period, but then to come back and really sort of solidify the deal. Don't take a step back. Don't have it be like the end of game 1. And surprisingly, they didn't pull their goalie, and he got lit up. I mean, Kuzi and Ovechkin are showing some magic playing together, and finally got one against his team that drafted him to sort of put the dagger in the team that sort of gave up on him. And it's been it was an incredible game, but I do want to temper expectations. It's one game at a time, and we got to just take the next game, because I know that we thought they were going to throw their best punch in the last game, and they didn't. So, but they're a proud franchise. They're not just going to roll over and take it. We're going to have to earn this, third win. And I know that we're playing well. We're playing great on defense. I know the offense looks clicking, and on the last night everything looks perfect. But we know in hockey that series can change on a dime. You can't give them any oxygen. You got to sort of smother them and finish them, and take each game very seriously, and take it game by game, and don't look too far ahead.
Very true. Very true, Robbie. Very true. I definitely understand and agree with everything you're saying. Now, I have to go back to the Pittsburgh game, which Robbie had brought up. Right, we had our pregame show before. Now, we spoke about, we didn't really get into it because we didn't, we superstitious. I try not to be, but, I have my moments. And we didn't want to mention it, but the whole dynamic of them beating Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh was such a huge boost. We talked about it in the postgame that Robbie and myself did, but just the fact that they were able to go in there without Tom Wilson and Nick Backstrom, and to be able to go in there and handle their business convincingly. And then everyone was talking about the emotional letdown, how they finally beat Pittsburgh. They were going to, fall to the Tampa Bay. Tampa's this powerhouse. They got 4 lines. Their defense is physical. They played with Boston, who was one of the top defensive teams. They made New Jersey look like kids out there. That's cool. Oh, I also forgot the experience factor. They have over 300 games of Eastern Conference Final experience. The Caps only have 3 players, and that's like 36 games. The Caps are going to be out of their element. Really. Last time I checked, hockey is about getting the puck in the net and out physicaling the other team and executing on the ice. Experience ain't got jack to do with that. It's all about execution, which this team is doing. After that game 3 against Columbus, that overtime game that they won to win 4 games in a row, which I'm going to go back and say, the only team in NHL history to lose 2 home games and win 4 in a row. That right there was a signal to me this team was something different, something special. Then they go into Pittsburgh and beat that team. Then they still didn't want to give the Caps credit, which I like that they're the underdog. That's great. I love it. Because no matter what, they're focused. They're playing like a team. Me and Robbie was talking about this earlier. We've all, as Caps fans, we've always heard about, the hot goalie, the team clicking at the right time, 3rd and 4th line players stepping up and scoring when needed. We've all heard those myths, but we're actually seeing it in front of our eyes. This team is different, people. This team is special. Now, I'm not going to do no predictions because we know how that goes. We're not going to do that. But getting into the first game against Tampa, going up 4-0, Tampa pushed back. Then you get the same excuse, they came out flat against Boston in the first game. They're going to be ready game 2. 28 seconds. The Caps scored. Were they ready? I think they were ready for the refs' help because those 2 BS power plays they got that aided them to that 2-1 lead and thought, they were going to make some noise and try to turn things around. But no. The second period, the weakest period of the Caps normally, they put up 3. And the thing that I loved about that whole situation at first with those two power plays is back in the day, Obi would have been blown. He'd have lowered his head. He'd have been pissed and, been out of the game. After that BS call, he was clapping like, yeah, okay, that's cool. We got this. We knew it was going to happen. We get the bounces sometimes we don't. But you know what? We're going to stick with our system, play our game, and we're going to come out on top. And the fact that they embarrassed that team 6-2, yes, I'm going to say embarrassed. when you outscore a team 7 goals to 1, 5-on-5, and they get gifted 2 goals on the power play to keep them in the game, yeah, they were embarrassed. Even the coach and the players were saying that, and they sound like they're lost. I'm not saying this series is over. All I'm saying is enjoy what this team is doing right now. Enjoy this team. You know, all of those things we heard about a hot hockey team getting hot at the right time. And I'm enjoying it. I'm not making no predictions, but all I'm going to say is I feel pretty damn good right now. DujunneaB, what do you have to say? I know I done went on, got on my soapbox a little bit and got off. So, matter of fact, I'm going to bring in Anna. She's been quiet for a while. She did the score. I'm going to bring in Anna. I almost forgot Anna was on the line. I was on my soapbox so long. Anna, so what do you...
I was here really admiring your soapbox moment. It's all good.
I appreciate that.
But no, I agree with you. Like, I'm loving that they're an underdog, which makes me feel like the pressure's off. And that's what I saw the last 2 games. You saw players stepping up. I'm thrilled with Kempney. I'm thrilled with Rana. I mean, it was nice to just see these guys, you know, just doing it. And I will say, though, in that first game, I thought, God, you know, are we really going to see, you know, games, because we're not quite that second half team. But you know what? I think they had a little wake-up call when it was 4-0, and they got a little relaxed. And it's a little, all right, you know, Tampa Bay came back with 2. Not a chance. I feel like when they came into the game yesterday, you know, they were focused. But again, they're still having fun out there and playing as a team. And so you're not seeing them overly shoot and trying too hard and dropping the gloves and everything. And I admire them doing this with Backstrom out. You know, that to me speaks volumes on this team just really, really impressing me. And I'm with you, Carol. I mean, I've been thrown under the bus for being a Grubauer fan, for being a Trotz fan, for, you know, calling for the Wilsons and the Branas. You know what? I don't give a crap. You know, I stand by what I said in the beginning of the season, and I'm just so proud of this team. And whatever happens, happens. And that's what I think is so great about our fans, is that I think if we were in the situation that Tampa Bay was in yesterday and all their fans were down in the third period, I don't think the Cap fans would have done that, because, you know, we ride it out. So I feel, you know, like you said, no predictions. I'm all on board, but I don't know. I like how they're playing. I will say my public enemy number 1 is Kunis. I really hate that guy, but you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see who he picks on next, because I feel like he does things sort of, you know, on the fly, or at least tries to. And so.
Well, no reason to get him. There's no reason to get him no fuel. So whatever he do, let him get the penalty. No reason to drop the gloves unless it's something blatant. But you brought up a good point about Nikki being out. DujunneaB, I'm gonna ask you, with the top line center being out, even though Kuzi's on the top line, Nikki is normally, you know, considered the top line center. How impressive is that to you that they were able to win not only the Pittsburgh clinching game without Backstrom, but these 2 first games on the road against the number 1 team in the East that the Capitals had no chance to get, that their offense was going to just run circles around the Caps' inexperienced defense?
I think it's been impressive to watch. She missed the game last night. You missed that was fun. That was fun to watch. Fun to see the Caps be loose. Not just look loose, but they've been very aggressive. And it's a team effort. Everybody is playing their role and playing it well. Whatever's called, whatever they're using and trying to do to be disruptive for Tampa Bay, everybody's on board. It's not just an Ovi show. It there on the ice, and that makes things so much easier on everyone else. And that's something that can't stop. I mean, it really is when you have just line after line, and no matter who's out there, they're making plays, and it's not a. I don't think saying that they like got beat up is a bad thing. Tampa Bay got their butts whipped, and those two goals really didn't mean much of anything. I mean, when your fans you're getting whipped bad when you're saying get up and walk out. Like, yeah, that's a ragdoll beating. Like, the fans they were failing early in the third inning. They knew it was over. It was over. It was clearly, I think anyone watching that game, you saw that there was that point where it was over. And even Tampa Bay knew it was over. They knew it was scrapping at the end. That's just, crying over spilled milk because somebody pissed me at Cheerios. Like, they knew it was over. They knew it was over.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that, Cats fans can really be excited about. I think this team has a way right now about themselves to where they're just going in and just throwing haymakers, and they have a plan. It's not just, throwing windmills and hoping to hit. They have a plan. They're attacking folks and hitting them right where it counts. And if they continue to do that, boy, they're going to be tough to stop. But, yeah, I found it pretty funny, too, how a lot of the outsiders just felt that Washington was just going to get overwhelmed and just too much offense. So, it's pretty funny to see the backpedaling now as Tampa Bay is down 0-2.
We know defense wins championships. I know Robbie had something to chime in while we get ready to close out this Caps talk. What you got on your mind, Robbie? I know you had a quick question or something.
Yeah, two quick things. One, I want to point out some stats, and then I was going to bring in a Facebook question as well. The stats, what I loved is that you're getting scoring from all up and down the top, all four lines. We talked offline, Carol, about how you really need to produce on all the different lines, and I really think it's a key to success, both offensively and defensively. You need defensive production from all four of your lines and defensive buy-in as well. The clogging up in the neutral zone, giving yourselves odd-man rushes, taking advantage of that. We used it against Pittsburgh, we used it against Columbus, and now we're using it against Tampa Bay. So the fact that we had 6 goals yesterday, and it wasn't because Ovechkin got a hat trick or something. Ovechkin and Kuzi kind of got goals, I don't want to say in garbage time, but they were not the reason we won the game. You've got people like Eller stepping up on the second line, Tom Wilson and Devontae Smith-Pelly. Having that secondary scoring is so key. And Kuzi on a 5-game point streak, I have to give a shout out to him. He's really showing up big in these playoffs and proving why we gave him that big contract. So with the question that came through on Facebook earlier, we've gotten a lot of commentary back and forth on Facebook. We appreciate people asking their questions there, including giving shout outs to the Redskins blanket. But the question was, do we give Backstrom as much time to get as healthy as possible since Lars is playing so well? So that is the question that he posed to the team. And I think, I'll start first real quick, and I do think that we let him sit until we lose a game. So once we lose a game, and then you put him in for the next game. But Ellers played phenomenal on that second line, being a top 3-star, and being one of our best puck possession. I thought in game 1 he didn't shine so much in the stats as much as some of the other guys, but I just thought puck possession, that's a really great line. It's got a lot of speed with Verana and TJ Oshie. And the one thought I had is maybe when you bring Nick Backstrom back, maybe you slot him in the third line just to sort of slowly work his way up and really screw up some other teams, because defensively, if he's your third line center, he gets a couple less minutes per game, gets to work himself in, still maybe quarterback the power play and a couple other key moments, but maybe not have him play quite as many minutes and still keep the Eller line going, because they've shown a lot of chemistry over the last couple of games. Carol, what are some of your thoughts on that?
Well, I'd rather let DujunneaB go ahead and chime in on that from the outside looking. That was a complex answer I got to give, so I'm going to let DujunneaB and Anna give their answer first. DujunneaB, what do you think about that with Backstrom? Do you think we should let him take longer to heal and stick with what's working, or when that soon slide him in as soon as he's ready to come back?
I think if you could just let him, whenever he's ready. And I don't think you have to slot him in. And I don't think you're forced. I know Robbie said if you lose the game, bring him in. I don't even think it's like that either. I don't think you have. I think if you're based on that, it would have to be how you lost. And that would have to be considered, a deciding factor in it too. But I don't think you have to rush him back at all. The team's playing well, and I don't think you have to ease him back either. But if you want to, like Robbie made mention of, if you want to mix it up and cause a little havoc with some of the other lines and kind of throw a monkey wrench in things, giving the opposing team a different look, so to speak, especially with his play and a caliber player, his stature, you could do something like that. But you don't have to ease him in, I don't think. I think this team's rolling and get them in the rotation and let that thing, continue to take off, and take you right on wherever you need to go. I don't think there's no reason to use them in.
I find it very refreshing. What about you, Anna? See where you stand at on the whole Nikki issue.
Well, I'm a huge fan of his, but I gotta say that we just gotta roll with what the line is doing right now. The chemistry and the consistency is absolutely there. Like, I am a huge supporter of what Robbie said about putting him, like, if he has to go in the third line, only because there's some sort of calming, what do you want to call it, presence or something about Nicky being out there on the ice. He's quiet, but Dan, does he know where to put the puck? He knows who's going to pass to, where it's going to go. And I'm not saying that that's what we're missing right now, but I think that what's missing is just, kind of his expertise on the ice. And it can't hurt to bring him back, but if he goes on the third line, I'm a supporter, and if we stay with, everything going the same, I'm okay with that too. But I have a feeling there's enough fans out there that want to see him back on the ice.
My opinion is, I say leave things, let it rock and roll. He got it says upper body, but we all know it's a hand injury. We know how critical the right hand is to a left-handed shot on the stick. Well, we might not know. I saw the demonstration on the NHL Network. So I understand how they're saying how critical it is for that hand with him passing. It doesn't affect him as much in the face-off circle, but it'll definitely affect him with his shot and with his passing if he has to put pressure. And we all know in the playoffs, if they know what your injury is, they're going to mess with it. So if he's not 100%, I say there's no reason to rush him back. They're playing well in the series. I don't care if they lose, they're up 2-0. If they just whatever, I say let him rest until he's ready. Make sure that hand is right, because the way, especially the way the game 2 ended with kicking folks with skates on and such. If they're going that route, they're definitely going to be slashing at that hand and make it worse, or get them out again and then have to shuffle the line. So I say this: they should let him make the decision. He sit back. I say let the team rock and roll and see where it goes. I know we about to end up real quick, but I know Robbie had something he wanted to clarify real quick with his point of view before we end up Caps Talk and get to the music break before DC Divas Talk at 8:05.
That's good. Yeah, real quickly, I do want to wait as long as possible. It's not like it's a knee-jerk, we lose one game, we want to throw it back in. So I just want to clarify that just for a second, because I really think he could be a game changer on the third line. I think with Burakovsky, they had chemistry earlier. I think we could surprise some teams and throw him in there. But definitely wait until he's ready. Trump says it's up to Nicky, and he can decide when he does it. I hope he doesn't rush him himself. We are doing well. So his call. But if we were to lose a couple of games, then maybe you think about it. But I agree. I don't want to endanger Nicky in any way.
No doubt. I'm going to go ahead and end this Facebook Live feed right now. Appreciate everybody that joined in, chimed in. Appreciate it. We'll be coming to you with the music break after this. And DC Divas Talk at 8:00, a little bit after 8:05.